Picture a world where the pursuit of pleasure is the ultimate goal. Welcome to the realm of hedonism, a philosophical stance that places pleasure on the highest pedestal, deeming it the greatest good. This perspective challenges us to imagine a life where personal satisfaction is not just an aim, but the aim. The roots of hedonism can be traced back to ancient Greek times. A prominent proponent of this philosophy was Epicurus, a philosopher who boldly championed the pursuit of pleasure. However, his interpretation was not about reckless indulgence. Epicurus advocated for the attainment of pleasure through tranquility, freedom from fear and absence of bodily pain. He saw pleasure in its simplest form, contentment. Hedonism in its essence is appealing for its straightforwardness. Its allure lies in the simplicity of its goal, to seek pleasure. There's no complex moral equation or intricate societal expectation to navigate. It's about what makes you as an individual happy. Yet this focus on personal satisfaction is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it gives a sense of autonomy, the freedom to decide what brings you joy. On the other hand, it might lead to a disregard for societal norms and expectations, which poses a question: how far can one go in the pursuit of pleasure before it becomes detrimental? The hedonistic perspective also raises questions about the nature of pleasure itself. Is pleasure always good? Can it be harmful? And if so, how do we distinguish between good and bad pleasures? These are the conundrums that philosophers have wrestled with for centuries. Hedonism, with its focus on the individual's pursuit of pleasure, is a philosophy that challenges societal norms and pushes the boundaries of personal freedom. Its simplicity is enticing, and its disregard for societal expectations can be liberating. Yet, as enticing as a hedonistic lifestyle may be, it's not without its critics. In contrast, imagine a world where only the strongest thrive and their enjoyment is paramount. This is the essence of the rule of the strongest, a philosophy often associated with social Darwinism and the survival of the fittest. It's a world where might makes right, where the strongest individuals dominate and their desires take precedence over everything else. The rule of the strongest finds its roots in the evolutionary biology concept of survival of the fittest. This concept was coined by the British philosopher Herbert Spencer after reading Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species. Spencer applied Darwin's idea of natural selection to human society, arguing that struggle and competition were natural and necessary for evolution and progress. The allure of this philosophy is undeniable. It's a world where competition reigns supreme, where survival is a testament to personal strength and prowess. It's a philosophy that values resilience and adaptability, qualities seen as essential in a world that's constantly changing and evolving. For proponents of this philosophy, the rule of the strongest isn't just a way of life, it's a way of ensuring the continued progress and development of society. However, the rule of the strongest also has its critics. They argue that it's a philosophy that prioritizes power over empathy, competition over cooperation. They question its fairness, pointing out that not everyone starts on an equal footing. They question its humanity, arguing that a society where only the strongest thrive is a society devoid of compassion and empathy. But it's important to remember that the rule of the strongest isn't about brute force or oppression. It's about resilience, adaptability, and the drive to succeed. It's a philosophy that values the individual's capacity to overcome challenges and push the boundaries of what's possible. This philosophy, too, has its detractors, questioning its fairness and humanity. As we continue to grapple with these fundamental questions of human existence, it's clear that the debate around the rule of the strongest is far from over. Both hedonism and the rule of the strongest offer unique perspectives, but how do they compare with other philosophies? As we delve into this fascinating exploration, let's consider hedonism first. Hedonism, with its pursuit of pleasure as the chief good in life, stands in stark contrast to Stoicism. Stoicism, with its roots in ancient Greece, teaches the development of self-control and fortitude to overcome destructive emotions. A Stoic might argue that the hedonist's relentless pursuit of pleasure could lead to emotional turmoil, suggesting instead that tranquility can be achieved by accepting the moment as it is, not constantly seeking to change it for more pleasure. On the other hand, the rule of the strongest, a philosophy that asserts the dominance of the most powerful, is contrasted sharply by utilitarianism. Utilitarianism advocates for the greatest good for the greatest number, seeking to maximize happiness for all, not just the strongest. A utilitarian might argue that the rule of the strongest could lead to an imbalance, creating a society where only a few benefit at the expense of many. Now let's bring existentialism into the mix. Existentialism emphasizes individual existence, freedom, and choice. It posits that individuals are free and responsible agents determining their own development through acts of will. An existentialist might view hedonism as limiting since it reduces human existence to the pursuit of pleasure, and might also challenge the rule of the strongest for its potential to suppress individual freedom and choice. In terms of pleasure, hedonism unabashedly places it at the core of life. In stark contrast, Stoicism views pleasure with caution, while utilitarianism seeks to spread pleasure across as many individuals as possible. Existentialism, on the other hand, doesn't necessarily prioritize pleasure, but sees it as one of many aspects of human existence. As for strength, the rule of the strongest celebrates it, believing that power should dictate the course of life. Stoicism, however, values strength of character over physical power, and utilitarianism views strength in terms of collective rather than individual power. Existentialism once again offers a nuanced view, suggesting that true strength lies in exercising individual freedom and choice. Finally, when it comes to the purpose of life, hedonism proposes that it's the pursuit of pleasure. The rule of the strongest suggests it's the pursuit of power. Stoicism argues for a life of virtue and tranquility, while utilitarianism advocates for a life dedicated to the greatest happiness for the greatest number. Existentialism, however, asserts that each individual defines their own purpose in life. While hedonism and the rule of the strongest may seem extreme, they reveal the diversity of human thought about what constitutes a good life. This exploration of philosophies is not about finding a superior viewpoint, but rather about understanding the rich tapestry of ideas that define our human experience. So, we've journeyed through the pleasure-seeking world of hedonism, the survivalist realm of the rule of the strongest, and other philosophical landscapes. Let's take a moment to recap. Hedonism, that rich philosophy of ancient Greece, encourages us to seek out the pleasures of life, arguing that happiness is the ultimate good. It's a philosophy that has been championed by thinkers from Epicurus to Bentham, and it's one that many of us, whether we realize it or not, subscribe to in some form or another. Then we have the rule of the strongest, a concept that echoes through the annals of history, from the animal kingdom to human societies. It suggests that power and power alone is the key determinant of what matters in life. The desires, the happiness, the very existence of the less powerful are secondary to those of the strongest. These philosophies, as we have seen, are not without their critics. They have been compared and contrasted with other worldviews, from Stoicism to altruism, from utilitarianism to existentialism, and they continue to spark debate about what a good life really means. Is it a life of pleasure, as the hedonists would have us believe? Or is it a life of power, as the proponents of the rule of the strongest might argue? And where do other values like virtue, duty, and freedom fit into this picture? These questions, like so many in philosophy, are not easily answered. They require us to delve deep into our own beliefs, our own values, and our own experiences. They challenge us to consider not just what is, but what could be and what should be. And so, as we conclude this exploration, let us not forget the importance of these debates. For it is through questioning, through exploring, through challenging our assumptions, that we grow as individuals and as a society. Remember, philosophy invites us to question, to explore, and to challenge our assumptions about life. So keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep thinking.